And guys, we split last night on Monday Night Football. We get it done with Cincy plus the points, lose out on the total. So a little bit of a split on Monday night to get the week going. And then we had a pair of in-season tournament games yesterday. That's all we have on the schedule today. So this might be a bit shorter of an episode, but we're going to go through some things. 2 games yesterday. We had the Celtics couldn't get it done against the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, first career triple-double, looked phenomenal. And don't look now, but the Pacers versus the Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers, they have a win versus all three. They're 3-2 versus them on the season, so they're not just getting it done. They're getting it done against the top teams. And then the Pelicans, my Pelicans, love the Pelicans. There's a good chance that they're going to be competitive down the stretch, and they went on the road where they've had some struggles, and they went and got it done last night. John, any major takeaways on the in-season tournament? And Jake Browning stealing the show Monday Night Football.
Let's start with Browning because he started a week too late for us. We were on Bengals also last week against the Steelers. Always liked Browning. Loved what this kid did at college, and just thought he'd be better last week. And he wasn't terrible last week, just not enough to get the job done. But he went crazy Monday Night Football last night. We put it in the preview. Expect him to be better. He gets Higgins back. Which was key, getting another weapon back. And what I did expect while we went under, I just expected that Bengal defense. Look, Bengals got a real good pass rush led by Hendrickson. Just expected that defense to step up after allowing Pittsburgh to go over 400 yards. And as we said yesterday, I believe it was the first time in over 58 games. So expected more out of the defense, and then that just wasn't meant to be. But again, we're not making any excuses. A lot of the games get dictated by what happens early. And what happened early is another idiot coach going 4th and 3 in the middle of the field with a backup quarterback that hadn't shown you anything yet, not in his groove yet. If it was later in the game, 4th and 3, you may want to go. But man, it's just punt the ball, pin the team, play D. Instead, you give them half the field to work with, and they score a touchdown. And so now you're already opening up the game to scoring. Now we answer back. But not only that, then on the next drive down, they go try for, I believe it was a 57-yard field goal. This is an open air, it's not a dome stadium. You know, there's certain positions like you live to fight another day, turn the ball over. I don't know what these algorithms say. I just know there's one way to play football. If you don't feel that you got a real confident chance of making that 4th down, you punt it and pin them. Anyway, you gave them 2 short fields. Only they didn't score on the second one, but it just opened up the game. Love what I saw with Browning. I could see there's already an overreaction to how good he was. They'll be playing on a short week against the Colts, so we'll see where that line goes. Bad break for Jacksonville.
Another one goes.
A win last night would have given Jacksonville the top seed in the AFC. Instead, they find themselves as the 4th seed without a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I will say, Bethard wasn't terrible last night.
He made some nice throws down the stretch. Even that one with Ridley that got called back.
So, let's see what he can do. Let's see how long Lawrence is going to be out. Obviously, he's not Trevor Lawrence, but it looks like he's been there for a while. He knows the system. He can make some of the throws. Didn't get off to an auspicious start, fumbling his first run, but seemed to calm down after that. So that's what I take away from the football. Cincy, I mean, look, if the best thing. If we could think they're out of it, but as long as they think they're in it, they'll play. That's why they just came with such a dud on the heels of Burrow's wrist injury last week against the Steelers. Jacksonville still in first place. They'll still be playing like, hey, we've got to keep this boat afloat till we get the quarterback back. As far as NBA, Pacers are going to be a maddening team this year. Pacers are going to be a team that can lose to some of the worst and beat some of the best. Yep. You're going to have to be ready to play at their tempo. Now, Boston, as we talked about yesterday, did slow them down a little bit. So I wasn't crazy about the total. I think is that 16-4 now. 16 of their 20 games have gone over. Last night didn't. They're going to be that team. Can lose to anybody, can beat anybody. That's what I'm looking at the Pacers. And Halliburton's got to be right. And we would have been on Indiana last night. He was legit sick, and if you guys saw the report, so he sat out the last game in Miami, and he still had this upper respiratory thing going on. So he was legitimately questionable, not like LeBron is today. They're listing LeBron questionable in the in-season tournament game. It's gotten to the point of ridiculousness in the NBA. They were supposed to change this whole stupid situation that was going on. But yeah, LeBron's listed questionable. Anyway, Indiana spoke about Celtics playing great at home, not so much on the road. We've talked about it ad nauseum from the beginning of the season. One of the shorter teams in the league, and as far as bench depth. So you're still dealing with Porzingis out. Now, he may be able – they said he might have been able to return Thursday, so we'll see if he'll be back shortly, Porzingis. But that team, as great as starting fives again, just don't have the depth. And when one guy gets hurt, that's going to hurt you in the long run. So Celtics, still the best team. There's no question about it in my mind, especially if they're at full strength. And then, I don't want to keep saying that full – because everybody at full strength. You need to be at full strength. But still having some problems on the road. That they've now lost to Indiana. Where the heck were they just before that? Orlando, Charlotte. And they got beat up in those last couple of spots. So the road is giving them some problems. As far as the West Coast game, it was the reverse effect. Pelicans, who had dropped 6 of 7 of their last road games, they had everything working against them. We always talk about the numbers and the spot. Now, my rating said Sacramento should have only been a 1-point favorite. But that spot, you had Pelicans, as I said, dropped 6 or 7 on the road, and they were going into a Sacramento team that had double revenge going. Pelicans had beat them twice in New Orleans by a combined 41 points. Sac just couldn't get it done. Sac right now not playing great. They'll win a game and look good, and then they'll lose a couple of games and not look so good. Fox, I think 10 for 25 last night. Your best player on a team, he's got to shoot better than 40% in if you want to call this a playoff game, in-season playoff game, whatever this was, got to do better than that. Pelicans get it done. And they get it done with not having a great game from Zion.
Nope.
This is what we talked about with the Pelicans. This is one of the reasons Ben liked this team. One, they got healthy, and now they're healthy. Alvarado's back, Marshall's back, Murphy's back. Those 3 guys started the season on the IR, on the injured list. IR is for the NFL, but they started out on the bench. Those guys were out. They're all back, all made contributions. I think Murphy was I'm going to say a plus 24 last night. So that's why he ate into some of Zion's minutes. New Orleans, if they're healthy, we've been saying it for a while. They're going to cause some problems out west.
Yep, New Orleans plus 5,000 to win the chip right now. If anyone's looking for a sprinkle to talk about health issues, that's a team you could have injuries up the ass before then. So good luck with that. Indiana, the whole thing with them also is a little bit of, can they play defense? Can they play defense? And we saw that a little bit. Game that mattered last night. They slowed it up a little bit. Played great defense down the stretch of that game against the Celtics, forced some turnovers, made some key plays. So we'll see as games start to matter more if they can do that. But we can dive into these 2 games going on tonight. And we'll say kudos to Adam Silver. So far, it looks like the in-season tournament's doing what he wanted, bringing some excitement early on in the season. This is the night they got to sell it. If you can't sell it with this slate, with these 2 matchups, then you don't have anything to work with. You don't have anything to market because you got the big names, the big teams, the big stars, everything you could want.
The Knicks, big cities. You got New York and LA. That's the key. All that other stuff is great, but you got New York early for TV, and then you've got LA to cap it off.
Yep, LeBron versus KD, Knicks versus the Bucks, everything you could want. So we'll see how it goes tonight. Should be exciting. First matchup, Knicks at the Bucks. This Knicks team coming off a win over Toronto. Randall almost had a triple-double, was playing phenomenal. They continue to be pretty solid on the road. Then you have this Bucks team who's been figuring it out more and more. They dropped that rough game they shouldn't have to the depleted Bulls team, but they came back with the win against the Hawks. Giannis did have a triple-double. Milwaukee playing great ball right now, 9-2, 7-4 against the spread, their last 11, and they have won the last 7 meetings here against the Knicks. They met earlier this year, I believe it was 105-101 was the final on that one, 105-100, so 5-point loss there.
110-105.
110-105. There we go. Sorry about that. It's Knicks are all the way in this spot. You guys know we already sent this out already on this bet, and interested to see how this Bucks team looks when defense matters a bit more. Because last night we saw that a little bit. Teams are playing a little bit more of that playoff intensity, and obviously you traded that with Jrue Holiday for Damian Lillard. This Knicks team leads the NBA in points allowed. They already have that defensive identity. Interested to see how the Bucks pull that tonight.
Knicks keep teams from scoring and Bucks score. Bucks don't have the defensive identity they had in years past. Big part of that with the Jrue Holiday. You basically traded Jrue Holiday and Allen, a couple of guys for Lillard. So offense for defense. We'll see how that works out for them early in the season. A little tough to tell. Bucks had pretty much owned this series recently. They've won the last 7 straight. Knicks' last trip there, though, as Ben said, 110-105. Now, we use a couple of different sports outlets. So it depends on what the actual closing line, consensus closing line. Some places had 5, some places had 5.5. So depending, either they get a push on that trip there, or they got their first cover of the last 7 games. Either way, Ben said Knicks have been okay. The Knicks have been better than okay. They've been money on the road this year. They're 4-2 now since their last trip, to Milwaukee. And last year, they had the second best record on the road against the spread. Knicks get it done on the road. Played the Bucks a lot better that last trip, and I just think this number's too high. I like the way the Knicks are playing. We've been talking about this also. If R.J. Barrett can get back to that pre-migraine situation that he had, he was playing great, missed 3 games because of the migraine, kind of fell off, been shooting 35% that. Since the beginning of the season, Randall and Brunson have picked their game up. Randall was a disaster last time they met. Randall, Brunson, RJ, they come with a game. The 6 was just too high on this one. It was an overpriced because of the series history. Now, we hate to buck the trends, but if we think the game should only be 2.5, 3, we'll take 6, and that's what we did. Wouldn't be a 5-unit bet. As I said, we thought these first-round games were going to be held in Las Vegas. So that's a mistake that cannot be made, but we did make that. So it would not be a 5-unit bet, but we're sticking with it. But this would be more like a 3-unit bet for me at +6. Line is now down to 5, so now you're looking like a 2-unit bet.
And in this night game, we have Suns versus the Lakers. Phoenix coming off a nice win against the Grizzlies. Booker, he had that ankle issue in the game prior against Toronto. Came back, didn't look like he had any issues, 34, 10, and 7. Then you have this Lakers team coming off a nice win there against the Rockets. Things got a little bit chippy there, obviously, with Udoka and LeBron. But Lakers playing pretty good at home, just not covering many games. Suns been great on the road this season. This is a weird matchup history. They've already played a couple of times. We talked about it already. Suns used to own this. They had won 9 straight. But in the last 4, the Lakers starting to own it. But it hasn't been the Phoenix Suns. Booker missed 3 of those games. KD missed 2 of those games. So not yet full strength. But if the Lakers get him tonight, then I think that ownership officially switches hands if the Lakers can find a way to pull this one off tonight. Still a chance to come for revenge tonight, John.
Yeah, I don't think they pull it off. Suns are 7-2 with KD and Booker both on the court. They'll both be on the court today. Look, Suns are going to be a team when they get this all figured out and they get these guys healthy. If they stay healthy, remember, Beal still hasn't played. But getting back to tonight, 7-2 with both Booker and KD on the court. As Ben said, Booker's missed 3 of these 4 games, both of them this year. Phoenix comes for double revenge tonight. I've got Phoenix the favorite. My number was Phoenix 1 in this game. I just don't think the Lakers. I just think it's their time. They took game the first time they met. Phoenix was coming off the opening night win at Golden State. They go to LA without Booker, and Lakers barely get past them. I believe that was a 100-95 final. And then they come into Phoenix, the Lakers, again without Booker, and they beat them in another. That was another close one, I believe, a 3-point win. Phoenix goes to LA tonight with both KD and Booker healthy, ready to play, and they win it on the court. They won it on the floor outright.
Yeah, both KD and LeBron try to find their younger stars to carry them in the later years of their career. And I think Durant won, landing Booker over AD, the way Booker's been taking over lately last couple of years. So interested to see that. Who steps up on the others tonight? We'll get a good game there. That's the 2-game NBA card, just those 2 games, but we're rewarded with a nice big slate tomorrow, John.
Huge. I've already made 2 bets. Our Massa Edge members know that DraftKings came out with the lines yesterday. 2 great spots. If you want those spots, you can become a Massa Edge member. Well, we'll go over those games tomorrow. Not fair for me to give them out just yet. But 2 real good spots that I like. Could be more. Got a couple leans. We got a big card tomorrow. And then obviously you've got on Thursday will be the semifinals. That's when it moves to Vegas, and we'll have the semifinals. We've already got Pacers and Pelicans in, and I'm hoping we get the Knicks and Suns in. It'll make it a big night. Looking for a big night. 1 big bet for Sunday, and I'm gonna give that to you guys here. I absolutely love the Cowboys. And detractors will say, but they haven't beaten anybody. Well, look, they just finally beat a team that was better than 500 when they played them Seattle. Did they destroy them the way they have other teams? No. But this, again, was the look-ahead game. They're looking ahead to this Philly game. Philly just coming off, we've been calling it a gauntlet. It was Dallas at home. They did get a bye. Then they go to KC for a Super Bowl revenge game in the rain. They come home Buffalo, overtime in the rain, get stomped out by the 49ers. They get banged up a little bit in that one. Hurts went into the tent, had a little limp at the end of the game. Remember what he's playing with. This is just a revenge spot for Dallas, coming off the 28-23 loss at Philly last month. They've owned them in Dallas. They've won the last 5 meetings. I believe it's by an average of 15.4 or 8 points, something like that. Let's call it 15.5 points per game. They've got the extra days to prepare. They played last on Thursday, while Philly played on Sunday. And again, they've been home since prior to Thanksgiving. They played home at Thanksgiving, played home last Thursday. Every spot in the world. And my numbers say start at Cowboys are 5.3 points better than the Eagles on the road. Cowboys are 5.3 points better at home than the Eagles are on the road. Love this spot. We had our members going out betting this spot. Even at -3, this was a 4-unit bet. We're already starting to hit some 3.5s, and I can't see how that game is going to close lower than 4. So we'll see what happens in that one, Ben.
Nope, and we'll keep you guys updated on that. Hopefully no injury breaks there. That matchup, great division rival. It seems like the home team's going to start owning that over the next couple of seasons as both teams finding their stride. And we can touch on college football a little bit, John. I know you wanted to address that just as far as some of these bowl games. More and more QBs opting out, and it's not just going to be QBs. You got to keep out for some O-linemen, for some wide receivers. Anyone who's draft eligible, there's a good chance probably better than not chance they don't play. Last couple of years in college football, the whole theme is, NIL, everyone make their money, this and that. But a lot of that is also, hey, players putting themselves before the teams, which they probably should. And if you have a chance to go to the league, you're not worried about winning the who knows what bowl because there's 80 of them now.
I'm with the players on this.
Yeah, 100%.
You got a chance to make life-changing money. You take that. If I'm Khalid Williams, I'd go play because right now your stock, to me, went down. Now, they're still saying he's the first pick. He wouldn't be my first pick. I think he's been a disaster lately. You got to win a game. You can have a million stats, but if your stats are inflated because your team's defense sucks so bad that all you do is throw. Anyway, that's my feeling on it. But, hey, all of these kids, Hey, do not get yourself hurt. Your career could be over just like that. Look what happened to Lawrence last night. Now, this kid looks like he's getting lucky. Looks like he's going to walk away with being out just a few weeks, but he is going to be out. But, hey, maybe a couple of inches this way or a couple inches this way, and this kid's got a break, and he's never the same again. So 100% totally get it with these kids. That being said, for my members that go by my ratings, and how I boast about my ratings, guys, you can't go by them in these bowl games. Because if you've got quarterbacks sitting out, and as Ben said, look, Ohio State's already got their quarterback sitting out, McCord. We told you about that yesterday. So now take out the best wide receiver in the country. That's going to diminish Ohio State's numbers. So you've really got to pay attention to who's missing. I will not be updating the NCAA with every guy that's in or out. So this is just a forewarning. And I guess what we probably should do, put a warning up on the top of it. So just be careful. Like I said, I've already got by my count, it's Gabriel at Oklahoma, McCord for Ohio State, Ward at Wash State, Howard for K-State, Leonard at Duke. Leonard, who's actually missed a few games. So we've been actually talking about that game with Troy. And then the kid from Oregon State, who I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm not even going to try it. But another quarterback. So that's already a half a dozen quarterbacks. There's going to be more to follow. So be careful with those bets. Now, the Final Four, Michigan, Bama, Texas, what have I got here? Did I just get a blank?
Texas, Washington, Alabama.
I expect those four guys to play, but hey, who knows? If you're Penix, you want to sit out, who knows? So you got to be.
That happened to what's his name on the Texans now, the wide receiver Mechie. He blew out his ACL in the college football playoff a couple years ago, so Houston had to wait on that a little bit.
I would like I said, it's totally side with these kids. This is life-changing money. You've worked your whole life. You've sacrificed practices, so 100%. I'm with the kids on this one, but I just want my guys to be careful as far as the numbers. As far as the numbers and anything else, nobody makes better numbers than me. Go to the NFL this week, man. You could basically make the numbers looking at, and I'll start with the first game on Thursday night. Guys, we've got Patriots on the road. They're 18.5. I get them on the road. I get the Steelers 23.5 at home. My number on that ugly game is 5, and right now that's what the line is, 5. I mean, I'll maybe give Pittsburgh a little tinge high, a short week. They'll be home for the second week. Patriots got to go there. But what I add, you almost subtract back, if not more, because we're expecting such a low-scoring game, as are the line makers. That line is 30. I have never seen a 30. I don't think there's been a 30 in 20 years. Now, there's been numbers like that, but they're usually weather-related. So this one is at 30, a total of 30, and I can only bet under, Ben.
Can only bet under. New England, what is it? They're scored last 3 weeks, 13 points in 3 weeks, averaging just over a field goal a game pretty much. I mean, this is it's impossible offense. So we're just talking about, some of the draft picks. Interested to see, maybe Belichick does land Caleb Williams because they're right now selected in that 2 spot for draft picks. So Belichick could be getting his QB of the future pretty quick, and they should be tanking at this point. You're 2-10. You should be tanking. They shouldn't be showing up to win this game.
And we could well see that it's Belichick. There's been a lot of talk about, is he done? It was Brady all the time. So I just don't know. I can't get in his head, don't know which way it's going to go. If again, guys, always remember, the numbers that I have posted, this is if both teams are coming with 100% effort. That's why people ask me, well, if this is a look ahead, why don't you have it in your numbers? But it's not in the numbers. These are my numbers. Any number that I have up there, NFL, NBA, these are the numbers. Both teams are at 100% health if the player's not put in the injured category and coming with 100% effort. Then you're going to take off. It's a back-to-back. It's 4th and 6. This team, we saw it last night. Last time the Celtics met the Pacers, they blitzed them by 50. Now Halliburton didn't play. A little time for revenge. These things show up. They've been showing up for over 40 years. That's why I keep using the same thing. So, again, all my ratings are based on teams coming with 100% effort. If the Patriots are coming to tank, obviously you can't make a number on it. Look, what I will say is their offense just is terrible. But as terrible as their offense is, the defense, they haven't allowed more than 10 points in any of their last 3 games. So, yeah, again, I made the total's 30, and I could only want to bet under.
Yeah, as far as the rumors of Belichick maybe leaving, all I know is Greg Popovich landed Victor Wembanyama. Next thing you know, he has a 5-year extension on his desk. So could be the right quarterback, makes Belichick double down and stay a little longer. We'll see what goes on there. Obviously,
Tom Brady would make me look like a great head coach. It's look, if you got to have the players, and you got to be a good coach too. But you've got to have the players. You could be a genius without having the people to execute what you want. You know what I mean? So you need both. They go hand in hand. That's why you put a Phil Jackson with a Michael Jordan. That's what you get. Phil Jackson with Kobe and Shaq. That's what you get. You get a top head coach. You get Popovich. Put them together with Duncan Robinson, Ginobili, Parker. You can't help but win when you have it all put together. Belichick, Brady, same formula. So I'm not going to say it was Brady. It was Belichick. We are where we're at now. This is a 2-10 team with a Hall of Fame coach. If he retires, he's a Hall of Fame coach. There's no, I don't care if he never wins another game in the NFL. He's a Hall of Fame coach. So you're going to want to go out on a Thursday night and get embarrassed at Pittsburgh. I'm sure they're going to come with a game. If he does, the line should be right where it's at 5. Could only want to bet the total under. As I said, there are probably some overreactions, and I see the Browns are already at 3. Prior to the injury, Jacksonville was a 3-point favorite. This number has swung 6 points in the Browns' favor. We're gonna have a few backups here. We're gonna have Bethard, who we saw last night. Didn't think he was too bad. And we're gonna have Joe Flacco, who came in off the heat pile. They dusted him off and played him last week. Actually, didn't look too bad, Flacco. And you have a couple of these guys going at it. And there's another ridiculously low total, 31. And the Browns defense, they got scored on last week. And Jacksonville, we'll see. Looks like Bethard could move the ball a little bit. That might be a little low total for me, Ben.
Yeah, definitely a little bit lower. Cleveland's been really weird as far as some of these random, just high-scoring blitz games they've been playing. It's the random teams giving up the big points. Last week, they had that game against Indianapolis, which, I mean, half of it was their defense scoring points, kept up tempo. But for how good their defense is, leading the league in yards allowed, they've had really just weird upticks in high-scoring games.
Yeah, well, last week out in L.A., look, the Rams are – let's not sell the Rams short. I saw this coming. If you're members – We've been on the Rams from a few weeks back. We had them at home against Seattle, get the money. Took them the following week at Arizona, a blowout win. And the bet last week was against them. That line opened 5. I didn't touch that. Went all the way down, but the Rams got the money. We'll need to see if Nakoa, he left that game. He was a little bit banged up. And as every week, injuries will play a major part. But I got a couple of leans. Outside of the Cowboys, absolutely love Dallas Sunday night. Just a huge game. Could get them all tied with a 10-3 record. And Dallas, as we've talked about, just a different team at home.
Absolutely different team at home. Guys, we have a couple of bets out for tonight. We already gave you guys those. We have a couple of bets out for tomorrow. If you guys want those, massaedge.com or sign up on the Massa Edge app. Appreciate all you guys tuning in as always. If you guys can like, comment, subscribe below. Sean, I don't know if you have anything else to add here before we wrap things up.
Going to wrap it up. Tomorrow's a huge card. Again, another couple of bets out already. Couple of bets tonight. We want to get this NBA back on course here. We will make money by the end of the year. Now's the time, guys. Come on in. Let's make some money.